I'm Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporter Mr. Liam Keenly in pre-season. We're back at Molineux. Great to be back. 0-0, baby, against Luton. Look, 0-0, but there were plenty of positives tonight, wasn't there? Probably Wolves' best performance of pre-season.
I mean, it doesn't take much, if we're going to be honest.
They
were okay against Porto, okay in the second half against Celtic.
Yeah.
But I think this was
against Man City.
Yeah, definitely. But I think this was certainly the most complete performance. And Wolves showed a lot of domination with the ball. Really pressed Luton back. Luton, who, to be honest, didn't particularly perform well tonight. It'd be interesting to see how they get on in the Premier League.
And that was pretty much their best starting 11.
Yeah, and Wolves were very much rotated. And I think you can see here that the squad definitely needs additions, but that starting 11 tonight was still a good starting 11.
Yeah.
So Wolves actually put in, as some people won't want to hear it, a pretty decent performance. But unfortunately, it's the same old. It's the lack of cutting edge.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes they're trying to walk it in without taking a shot, and it's so frustrating for us up here. All the fans in the stadium, we're just, almost deflated at the fact that there's a shooting opportunity, they don't take it. That needs to change. You're not going to score without taking a shot. And then when they do get into the good positions, a little bit of luck at times wasn't quite there. A couple of good saves. Fabio Silva was excellent, I thought, tonight, and a couple of good saves from efforts from him. But overall, just not taking the opportunities at the right time.
Well, let's start with the top and work our way to the bottom. Football analysis-wise.
I didn't even pick up on that, so you got away with it.
Kalajic and Fabio up top tonight, and I thought both looked pretty good actually. I thought Kalajic probably had the better in the first half, tired a little bit, which is understandable. Silva, look, I mean, he's a fan favourite waiting to happen, isn't he? To be honest, I know he missed some chances tonight, but the fact that he created, like you say, high energy, high pressing, he won the ball back at times. He was getting into the spaces that you need a number 9 to get into. Played deeper at times as well into that 10 slot, but I think he can play both. For me, you've got to keep him. I know his short-term future's a little bit up in the air. You've got to say that, but no brainer, surely.
No brainer, absolutely. Overall performance from him, very, very good. And he doesn't look like a player that doesn't want to fight for Wolves.
No,
he looks
absolutely.
like a player who's absolutely on board, a player who runs himself into the ground. And that is the bare minimum that football fans want. And that's what the Wolves fans here at Molineux saw tonight. And that's why they reacted in the way they did, chanting his name.
Fabio Silva. That's quite good.
I thought he was very, very good. Look, not perfect, a little bit rough around the edges. A couple of good shots that were forced into good saves. So had it been a little bit luckier, he probably would have scored that day. But overall, a very, very good performance from him. And he has to, for me, to be honest, he starts for Wolves in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
Do I think tactically going into United that Lopetegui will start him? No. But for me, I think he starts for this Wolves side. He just shows a little bit more danger, something the Wolves don't have.
I thought Hwang started well as well, to be honest, and then faded away a little bit. But like you say, with Hwang tonight, Sarabi, who should came on, should have scored really. But Wolves have got options, haven't they? Up front, wide. It's just putting the ball in the back of the net. As is the age-old problem. Yeah, absolutely. What you mentioned on Kalajic, I thought he played really well. First half in particular, as you say, tired a little bit in the second half. A couple really good chances. One 10 yards out, 3 sharp blazes over the bar, should hit the target at the very least. One in the first half as well. But the fact that the chances are starting to come, they're slowly getting there in pre-season. These are the kind of good signs you want to see. It's not going to be perfect today. No. Yes, it'd be nice if they actually start scoring goals and they maybe get a positive, goal scoring record to go into the Premier League. But they're making the chances. And Hwang, to your point, I thought he played really well first half. Sarabi came on, did okay. Nori looked dangerous going forward, and actually thought handled himself quite well defensively. So a lot of really good individual performances. Doc played really well, I thought as well. Yeah, I think you could have seen more from him going forward. Probably more to do with the fact that it was a back four, and he's still getting to grips with. He's obviously played there, of course he has, but getting to grips with the timings of the runs and when to make the run. But Traore got better as the game went on. João Gomez in midfield thought he had a good game. Both of them. To be honest with you, I'm not sure about starting them together. I think Lamina, if he's not ill, would have obviously had some sort of input today, probably off the bench. I'm not sure that starting together, it's a little bit chaotic at times, but I like them both as players. Both got yellow cards today, of course they did. Both nailed on yellows as well.
Nailed on yellows. There was, as I said, lots of really good individual performances, and just to sort of round that off. Kilman and Totti, I thought very, very good together as well. Very good in the air, marshalled that defence, but unfortunately for Luton, they didn't really offer much. No. They got slightly better towards the end of the first half, a couple of chances at the beginning of the second half, and aside from that, it was a bit of a grey area.
Circling back, I want to say back to Kalajic, because obviously people and the fans are talking about him there and really enjoyed seeing him. And it's almost the perfect scenario for him to get back into this team and get his fitness back up, because you think really, and we've talked about it on the podcast and we're going to be doing one tomorrow as well, realistically you're looking at Man United, as you've said, and you think Cunha's probably going to be up top on his own, probably, he's probably going to be a bit more defensive. Then you think that as and when, maybe 2-3 games into the season, you might play Cunha and Fabio Silva. Kalajdzic is going to be able to get his fitness back slowly, come on for cameos, 15-20 minutes here and there before he's ready to start. He's got that first month, 6-7 weeks where he's going to be building up. I don't think anyone expects him to be seen in the starting lineup anytime soon in the Premier League, but he's got a good outlet here in the next, obviously got the Rennes game as well, which is probably going to be on the bench and maybe come on, but the first 3 or 4 or 5 weeks of this season, that's going to be really important for him to find his feet before he is ready to start a Premier League game of football. Yeah,
he's building up slowly, isn't he? He played 20 odd minutes against Blackpool back at Compton. He played 60 odd against Man City under 23s, obviously being an academy side, slightly different.
Yeah.
Then makes his first start playing against a senior side, and played 68 minutes here today. So he's getting there slowly, and albeit yes, he tired a little bit towards the end of him coming off. He's looked pretty sharp, I think, throughout all of those performances. I didn't see Blackpool, of course, but those are the 2 performances. And just giving him the time to get there, and obviously the Premier League's a different beast when it does come to that. Give him, 5-10 minutes if you're 1-0 down at United, provided obviously he's fit enough to do that. You then start to ease him in slowly as the games come on, and by mid to late September, he might be starting games.
Yeah.
So the good signs are there. The fact that he's getting there slowly, and the fact that so far, touch wood, he's been physically fine. So I think he adds a different dimension to Wolves. He makes runs beyond the defenders. Obviously his height is a massive factor. There's lots of things that he could offer to this Wolves side, and I think once a little bit more of that sharpness comes, we'll see that come out to fruition.
We're ready on Saturday, final pre-season game before Man United the following Monday. Do you expect Lopetegui just to change it completely again tonight and just rest players, or do you feel that he might pick the side that he wants to start against Manchester United?
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious what he'll do, and it was obvious what the starting lineup tonight was going to be. It was going to be rotated in comparison to Celtic. 9 changes, only Kilman and Nunes keeping their place. So I think going into the Rennes game, it will be by and large the starting 11 that will play against United. Obviously there'll be potentially some tactical changes, anything that happens during the week, of course, fitness or injury wise, that means there's changes, but overall it's probably going to be the starting 11 or near enough that we saw against Porto and Celtic. The biggest question mark probably comes whether Gomez plays ahead of Hodge maybe in midfield, but I thought Hodge came on in 10 minutes and played really well again tonight. So he's taken his chance, and that's nice to see as well. So look, there are options here. Let's not beat around the bush. It's a little bit of a mess off the field at the moment. The club needs additions. How and when they can do that and make that happen is a massive question mark. But there are still some very good footballers here, and there is a little bit of depth in certain positions.
There is, absolutely.
When you look at the numbers and you look at each position, you're looking at 2 to 3 depth-wise, and I think maybe if you can add 1 or 2 players that come into that starting 11, then Wolves will be in a fairly good place. And it's not going to be perfect, but fairly good.
Fairly good place. So any decent places for a pint of Guinness in Wolverhampton?
You're addicted now, you love it. I'm jealous.
Wolves 0, Luton 0 for the post-match reaction. Make sure you log on to expressthestar.com.